What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today I have for you guys another exciting unboxing to dig into. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Double check down below. I would love to have you here. And before you head out, hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. It really helps these videos get pushed out there to more people. So we have a Kubey coming in from Kubey, so shout out to them for sending this guy in for me to take a look at. Now, it is out of the mailer for two separate reasons, actually. First and foremost, I thought this package was something completely different than this. And secondly, I rolled with the punches, and did I realize that the microphone was not set up. It was plugged in, but I didn't have it connected. I didn't turn the connection on through my phone. So there was no sound throughout the entire unboxing of this knife. And that was a great video too. I had a lot of laughs with myself. But what we're taking a look at is a newer addition to Kubey's line. This is the Bluff. We do have a video on a Kubey Bluff from a couple weeks ago, but it had the all black handle, and we have the same texture here as the all black handle, but this is going to be coming in their very see-through Ultim, and I'm starting to really come around on this Ultim, the more see-through version. They have a medium and a very dark Ultim, and I'm not really on board with either of those. Now, this, the more clear or see-through version, I'm starting to come around on it. Now, am I going to go crazy and start picking up everything in Ultim? No, I'm not. But if I see something I like, and it's got this kind of Ultim, I won't be as hesitant to picking that up as I was in the past. But I'm starting to get on board with this kind of Ultim here. And with the way the milling is done on these scales, this is such a great little EDC knife, guys. The black one that I have has been an absolute EDC banger of a knife. Nice and grippy. It feels so good in hand. The handle is nice and neutral. Pocket clip, their new redesigned pocket clip has been absolutely fantastic. It's a little bit sleeker. It's a little bit cleaner looking. It's just way better looking and acting than the previous versions of their pocket clips. They worked and they were functional, but this is head and shoulders better than the older modeled clips that they use. Now, we're getting a high polished sandblasted 14C 28N blade. Kind of pick it up right there. And you see that BGPT, if you are not familiar, that is Bridgeport Knife Company. And he is a designer he's got a couple designs out now at this point. And I don't know if Kubey has OEM'd every single one of them, but I do know that I believe so anyway, that they OEM'd at least one or two of his own models. And this collaboration with him and Kubey, I think, is an awesome combination because this is what they have come up with. The very first collaboration with Bridgeport, the very first crossbar lock for Kubey, and this is not just any old crossbar lock. This is an adjustable crossbar lock. So you have three different positions there of tension. You have what would be light, then it's in the middle, which is going to be medium, and then you have the all the way up, or the third position, which would be the strongest amount of tension. They must get shipped in the center there, and then all you have to do is pop the pivot screw and the scale screws off, and you can take this off, adjust it, pop them back on, and you are back in business. I'm going to do a full disassembly of this one, and we'll actually show, you know, kind of the internal workings and how to switch that over. It's very easy. Most people would be able to figure it out, but just for content purposes and just because I want to do it and I'll be switching it anyway, we'll go ahead and do that. One thing I want to point out is watch that spring in there. This is awesome. So you can kind of get an idea of how these crossbar locks actually work internally. You can see that spring compress as the blade opens, and then once it gets past a certain point, it starts to release, 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 and then once it gets all the way opened up, you can see it pop back open. All the tension is gone, and the same in the reverse. It is a very, very cool and, in my opinion, intriguing system. And it's cool that you can actually see that in motion and what's going on in there through the scales. I just think that's an awesome touch. There's so many crossbar locking knives out there these days, and to actually be able to see, you know, kind of what's going on in there, I think that's awesome. And you have these unique Ultim scales. You have this cool pattern or milled pattern that's going on, and it works extremely good, guys. We do have a reversible pocket clip on top of it being deep carry. Now, it is surface mounted, but the clip screws are recessed, which I'm good with that. Do I prefer to be recessed? Yeah, but then you're talking about extra cost, and to make it left-hand friendly, then you're talking about the extra cost with the recess, and then you're talking about needing a filler tab in there if you're going to do things the proper and right way. So surface mounted with recessed screws, I think that is good to go, especially when the knife is at this price point and everything you're getting here. 14C, a great size, a very good lock, strong lock, and these are right around $50-$60 for retail price. And if you can score one on White Mountain Knives, you can get 10% off using GBALL10, and that knocks the price down even a little bit more. This thing came perfectly centered out of the box, and I can tell you this is exactly like the black one that I got in a couple of weeks ago. The tolerances are very, very tight on this knife. You can tell the springs are nice and strong. This thing needs broken in. Now, like I said, the black one was just like this, and after a few days, maybe a week of, you know, opening and closing and using the knife, it started to break in very, very well. And it may be a small nuisance or a slight nuisance for things to be a little bit tighter like this, you know, but at the end of the day, you want this lock, these tolerances to be this tight. And you want it to need that break-in period, because that means everything is done properly in this knife. It needs broken in, you know, everything needs kind of worn in, instead of everything being loose or already broken in, and then, you know, it's just kind of sloppy. You know, you kind of break this in yourself, and in time, it starts to get smoother and smoother, easier to open, easier to close, and that's just, in my opinion, the way you want things. You want them to be very tight and need broken in, opposed to getting it and it just being loosey-goosey and floppy, you know, and that's all right in some cases, but in other cases, it might not be the best thing. So here's a quick look at it in the pocket. It's going to carry very deep. You'll have just a tiny, tiny little bit poking out of the pocket there. Nothing really at all. We'll go ahead and we'll check the edge on this guy, which Kubey typically does not disappoint on their edges. At least not any time that I can remember in the recent history here of Kubey Knives. Boy, I was going to say, there's no way that this thing is dull. It's not. It's just me. Yeah, it's got a nice edge on it. Typically, Kubeys, for the money, they are very, very hard to beat, guys. And one thing I can say, after working with them for the last couple of months and whatnot, they have an awesome, awesome team over there. Very nice people, very helpful people. And it's not just, you know, I think their customer service is good stuff. If you need something, you know, screws, hardware, springs, whatever, I think they will take care of you, no problem at all. Why don't we go ahead and we'll see what it does up against a little piece of cardboard here. Wow. Just a light, casual grip going against the grain. Yeah, that's got a nice edge on it. See, cutting paper is not, you know, it's one test, but it's not the test, and it's not the only test. The best way, really, guys, is to, I forget what the name, you know, there's a name for it, but just take your thumb, put it on the spine, take your 3 fingers, use the tips, and just kind of run them along that edge. You don't got to be scared. You'll start to, you know, especially if you work for a living or use your hands, you know, you'll have a little bit of callus, a little bit of roughness up there, and you'll kind of feel that start to bite in. Something that is extremely sharp, you'll kind of start to feel it go into those top layers of skin. You know, it's not going to make you bleed or anything like that, but that's one way, or in my opinion, the best way. And then cut some paper, cut some cardboard, some single ply, and that'll kind of give you a really good idea as to what kind of edge is on that particular knife. And the moment you've all been waiting for, let's whack her, baby, let's whack her. There's no play in here, none up and down. I can get a slight bit of movement if I really wrench on it, but that's basically that tang kind of just sliding on that bar. And I mean, it's very, very minimal. That's taking it to the extreme. There is little to no play at all on this thing. So let's see what we got here. Yep, she's nice and solid. Great job by Kubey. Great job. No play, no movement. There's no issues whatsoever. Blade came nice and centered, came nice and sharp. Lockup is good to go. Springs are nice and strong. The only thing, and it's the same thing that I said about the black one, the only thing that I wish, well, 2 things, and these are extreme nitpicks, especially at this price point. I'd like to see some different finishes for the blade. You know, the high polish sandblast is fine. It looks like a gray DLC in a way, but you know, I wouldn't mind seeing a stone wash, a black wash, a satin, just, you know, different variations, just options for people. And then I would love to see this in some micarta. You know, it doesn't even have to be contoured. Just some flat scaled, good micarta. That would be fantastic. A little bit of micarta, satin, black wash, stone wash, you know, whatever. Just more options is better. Always. More options is always better. That way, if someone feels like getting G10, they can. Altum, they can. Micarta, you can. You know, and then same with the finishes. Sometimes I feel like getting a satin blade. Sometimes I feel like stonewash. And that variation just continues on and on and on. You know, I have an unlimited amount of all kinds of different finishes and handle materials, and that's always because at that very point in time, I just feel like getting some, you know, one or the other. So more options for this knife would be absolutely fantastic. I look for Kubey to do a lot more crossbar locking knives here this year in 2024. But I think for their very first model with the crossbar lock, they did it very, very well. They did it right. Great blade shape, great steel choice, solid lock. Hard to ask for much more, especially in this price point. The Kubey Bluff will have a full detailed overview of this guy coming up very, very soon, and we'll do a disassembly of it as well. Let me know what you think down in the comments of the Bluff, the Altum, Kubey doing their first crossbar lock. I love hearing from you guys. Let me know what you think of Kubey. I will have them linked down in the description. You can head over there and check them out. If you do use any of those links down in the description, they do help the channel out. Entirely up to you if you want to use them links. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new or you've been here before and you're still not subscribed, well, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.